Hey, this is Jacques.
This is Joe.
Welcome to Carnival Personnel Sideshow. We have a very special guest. So, Joe, when was it? Was it October that we played at Ralph's?
I forget.
September, October?
It was late September.
September. I thought it was our first time playing at Ralph's. Apparently, we have played there a number of times before that I was informed when we got there. We had a very lengthy talk about the decor at it. You were both impressed by the Wild E. Coyote.
Oh, the safe. There was the large speaker hanging from the ceiling by a chain.
With the X on the floor right under it. Yeah, so that was great. And that night, as you remember, I think we were both wowed by the rationales and the band Gold Star Blvd. And I remember you saying, if this podcast can do one thing this calendar year, it's to get somebody from Gold Star. Remember having said that?
Yeah, I thought that was a private conversation that we would have just between me and you. But yeah, I do remember that.
And we talked a great deal about where we stood with shirts being buttoned and unbuttoned during the performance.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Okay. Yeah. And you said, if we get somebody, make sure it's the unbuttoned shirt kid. Remember that?
I can neither confirm nor deny saying that.
And I will ask you, it's just a yes or no. Do you have a windowless van in your driveway? And
no.
And is this not the best way to get young boys into a basement willingly by having it? These mics aren't even on.
I don't appreciate this line of questioning, and I think we're wasting people's valuable time.
If anyone's listening. So anyways, with that said, introduce yourself, Alex.
I'm Alex from Gold Star
And do you go
Blvd.
by Alex or Alex?
I do go by Alex,
okay,
or whatever you want to call me.
Make sure that he tramples over the name of your band that you're here to promote.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. What's the name of your band?
Gold Star
So that's
Blvd.
great to hear. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, it's catching. No, so this is Alex from Gold Star Blvd.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. And, hopefully you won't be regretting this when you're actually, making it bigger than a podcast in somebody's basement.
No, it's fine. I've grown to regret a lot of things. But, hey, we grow from them.
Yeah. Hey, Mark Maron has he started his in a garage, so.
I think he's still in the garage.
I think he moved to a bigger garage.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, we're in a basement now, so.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I do plan on moving to a
place.
bigger basement, so.
There.
The old Pizza in the Cup guy right out of business. All right, so we played this show, and it was a lot of fun. We play a lot with the rationales, and mostly because I don't like to leave the house ever. And the kid Dave from the Rationales, the singer, has sat in with my buddy Dan and I, who've been a two-piece for most of the past 20 years. The bass player we had that night was our bass player from the early 90s. Again, I don't think I saw him since I moved to L.A., but he has claimed that we've hung out a couple times since. And then we saw you guys, and you guys were a lot of fun. So you heard us talk about you before. Now we're playing again. I don't know why we're playing again, but somebody said, oh, come play here now and bring bands you want. So that's why we had called you guys, because you guys were fun, and we wanted to have you on to talk about the band, how it came to be, what you guys are doing, and also just to kind of make fun of you. So
Hey, well, I'll always take that.
So how did the band come to? Now, they're brothers in the band, right? Two of the guys are brothers?
Yeah, the singer and the bassist, Chris and Dave.
And the bassist is the one with the absolute gorgeous.
He's the guy from Stranger Things. Yeah.
Mid-80s. No, it was yes. Oh, you could go Stranger Things, but I'm going Fabio romance novel covers.
I went Stranger Things the first thing. First thing I saw, I was like, yes.
Okay.
I as soon as your band walked by, not to make fun of anybody, it was by their appearance, but I was
no, please do.
saying to my friends, I loved him in Stranger Things. I loved him in Stranger Things. I loved him in Stranger Things.
I say you guys looked like a rock version of a boy band because everybody had a different look, and it was like a PR firm came in. It's like, you're the bad boy. You're the brooding one. You're the funny. You're the Ringo. You're the lovable loser. And you're this because you guys did. And so the two brothers, one of them has the Fabio Stranger Things hair, and the other one has the awesome white man fro. The what was the ABA movie where Will Ferrell played the basketball?
Semi-pro.
Yeah, he had
the Bill Russell special kind of thing.
It was epic.
Which one's the lovable loser in the band? By the way,
would be the drummer.
Oh, okay.
It's always it usually is. And you had. Was it purple pants?
They're bright red pants that my girlfriend over there really hates.
Okay, see, but I was saying to management, which is my wife, I'm like, you could give me all the money in the world, I wouldn't know where to buy pants like that. Like, I don't know if I've ever.
Oh yeah,
but I'm not cool enough to know.
You got to go to the ladies section at Savers.
Okay,
Prime real estate.
I'm not allowed there anymore. That's a podcast for a different day. Whoa,
just the ladies section he's not allowed in.
Look. How about that?
Yeah, you only spilled a little on the floor.
Shut it. And I kept saying all night, like, my wife, we kept like wanting to go over, and we were trying to find the nice way to say it. It's like, how old are you guys? Because honestly, I have socks that are older, and I think it's great that you guys playing out. Yeah. But yeah, and then we saw your parents, and I'm like, somebody's parents were over there.
That would be the Buttons guy. Those are his parents.
And I was like. Yeah. They look younger than me. I have to go ask. Mm-hmm. So somebody's 21. You're 21?
I am 22.
22. Yeah. There was a couple kids that I heard the bouncer saying had to wait outside until they're set.
We've got an 18-year-old singer. That's the white man fro guy. The guitarist and the bassist are both 20.
Okay.
So and they turn 21 like within a week of each other, I think. So
nice.
So that'll come next year.
I guess the first question is, and we'll just get the elephant out of the room.
All right.
Which one of your girlfriends is most likely to break the band up?
Oh man, wow, that would be the singer's boyfriend. Actually, no, he doesn't have a boyfriend. Full disclaimer.
Okay. Because he's not trying hard enough, or just
yeah. Yeah, well, actually, we have a song called "Not the One for Me," so that says a lot right there.
Now, do you think it's harder being in a band and the post-Me Too Time's Up movement?
I have no idea what that means.
Oh. See, he's that young.
Okay, yeah, all right,
and that cool.
Right, exactly. The other thing that my guitarist Dan and I we kept wanting to go over and tell you guys is we're you from the future. And you have to make better choices. I
did hear that. My brother thought that was hilarious.
Because we're like, we all met at Fitchburg State in the late 80s, because that's how old we are. Like late 80s, 88, 89. And we started playing out, early 90 and stuff like that. And we did a lot of dumb things.
As you do.
I'm told.
Right. So it's been reported in the newspaper.
Police
logs, newspaper.
More than one time, Dan and I have woken up in protective custody. I'm like, I'm fine. No, it was the other 8 people we were keeping you from, you asshole. And they didn't want to go through the process of actually, booking us, so they would just like throw us in like basically the drunk tank.
Right. Okay.
Made a lot of friends that way. So how did you guys get to be a band?
Well, so the other 3 have kind of been friends since they all grew up together, and I met them a few years ago, and I noticed they had some talent, and I've always wanted to pick up the drums, so I just said, hey, let's get it together, and since then we've kind of been playing just for fun, doing covers and whatnot, and then we started writing our own stuff, and it's really been kicking off this year.
Who thought covering Elvis? Were you guys covering Elvis ironically? Like to be kitschy, funny?
More for fun, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Everything we do is because we want to. It's for fun.
Oh, all 4 covers. All 4 covers. But it's like the button shirt kit was doing the Elvis.
Yes.
And he was like really, and I wasn't sure if he was like joke trying to do the Elvis, or he's like, I'm really trying to do a tribute to Elvis.
Well, hey,
and either way,
it the way you want, yeah.
I thought he was doing an Andy Kaufman routine.
Thank you very much. You don't know who Andy Kaufman is?
I've heard the name.
Okay. Yeah. So how long have you been playing? Did you join to play drums? Were you playing drums before?
I have always been tapping my hands on the desk, but I really started playing about 3 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you guys have been a band for 3 years?
About, yeah.
And how much do you guys play out? How often?
It really only started playing off this year. We played it out about 8 or 10 times at this point. We have 3 more in the next 4 weeks. So thanks to you guys. And yeah, so we've been playing out. We played Ralph's. We played some other Worcester places, Beatniks. We're playing there again in December, I think.
Are you guys a quote-unquote Worcester band?
As of right now, yes. Lowell will be our first out-of-Worcester gig.
Are you guys from Worcester?
Actually, none of us are exactly from Worcester, but we like to base it out of Worcester.
It'd be crazy if they were out of New Jersey. And they just
That would be
you know
funny,
what?
right?
Let's start a band in Worcester.
Let's just move to Worcester
Yeah.
and start a band. It's the greatest place to start a band.
Exactly right. That's where the music scene is happening. It's the new Austin.
There's been a lot said about Worcester.
It's the Austin of the North, I think, is what they call it. North Austin.
I don't know Worcester at all, like, because I never grew up around there, except Fitchburg, and that's. But it's crazy because Worcester, just in the past year since I just moved back here, I ended up running. There was a football team, an arena football team that played at the Worcester DCU Center.
Now it's the DCU.
Yeah.
Keep saying
There you go.
Worcester Centrum and stuff. And I've met a lot of Worcester people, and Worcester's really this cultish. Like, people are like really proud of Worcester, really Worcester centric, and why?
Yeah.
I honestly don't know why, as I'm not really from there myself.
Like Shrewsbury, you guys a Shrewsbury band?
I'm from Shrewsbury. The other guys, we tend to practice up in near Gardner, where the guitarist is from. We practice in his basement.
Mike Babiglia is from Shrewsbury. I think he's like the
Oh.
biggest thing from Shrewsbury.
Bigly, I've heard the name.
Yeah,
actually, yes.
huge comedian. It's like, okay, so you guys have been together for 3 years. Where are you guys now? What is the state of Gold Star Boulevard?
Right now, we're writing a bunch of original stuff. I sent you one of our more recent ones that we wrote all together. This is actually everyone's input, called Lucky Number 7. And that's our first demo that we've recorded. So we're amidst finding ways to record / writing our own music.
And what did you read? Like a home recording, like GarageBand or something with this?
No, actually, Luke, the guitarist, went out and bought Logic Pro, and he's got some sound tech that he bought. He's put a lot of money into it himself. So
That's the number one thing you always want to do is put money into it.
As much as actually, I apologize to her beforehand. Kim Barber put the money into it. Find girlfriends who are willing to put the money into it. 30 years later, we're still friends with her, but yeah, we've never paid her back a fraction of what it is. So it's funny because old guys like us are so
Old,
yeah, broken,
white.
will to live pretty much non-existent. No, but like the barrier to entry and record doesn't exist anymore. Like you don't need anything to go and do a podcast or make a recording or get the stuff out there. There's literally no more barrier to entry, where we were always reliant on the kindness of strangers.
A recording space.
Recording space. And I remember like there was a place called, and I guess it's still there, a place in somewhere around the Worcester area, the Leominster area, Sound of Glass. I remember it was a big deal that we went and recorded there, and it was like, $15-20 like an hour to be there. But now for the cost of that, or then we got like a 4-track. I don't remember if we bought that or borrowed it from a place we did a gig.
Did you bring it back?
If you want to get into the specifics,
You say borrow it,
Yeah. Well, no, we would play college radio stations all the time because they had really great gear and lots of mics, and it's like they have 20 great mics. I mean, I think we're all agreed that they'd be really happy that when we left there was 19 great mics left or something like that. But yeah, so there's no barrier to that. Also, with social media and stuff like that, you don't have to be on college radio. It's great.
yeah.
I'm actually curious to know what it's like now as a band coming up in this era. Like, what are the venues that you can get your music out, and like, where do you put your music out?
Well, we have nothing out yet. As I said, we're recording demos, but a lot of the places we played, like Leech Rooms, Beatniks, and Ralph's, those are all like kind of dive bars, and we get to play there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's sort of the thing we're looking to do right now. Getting stuff out on social media is pretty big too.
Yep.
The following that you have, because people, and it really is the social like interaction with people. So if you stay interactive with people, people tend to keep an eye on you. And if you drop off the radar, then they're going to forget about you. And pretty quick. Everyone has a short attention span these days.
Like us.
Yeah. What were we talking
Yeah,
about?
exactly.
Yeah,
Like, what was my
I'm the
question?
same way.
No, and it's funny because where you're the drummer, I always suffered from what I termed like the Pete Best syndrome. Do you know who Pete Best is?
Oh no, man! I've heard the name.
Pete Best was
Pete
this
Best.
great drummer who was in this band for 6 or 7 years. Truly did 1,000+ shows, and a week before his band that he was with for 6 or 7 years, they practiced at his aunt's house. He traveled with them. He literally did 1,000 shows because this band would do 2 or 3 shows a night for a few years. He was the most popular one in the band. And so the band, knowing they were going to get signed, like, he is going to get all the attention, they threw him out of his own band and they brought in Ringo Starr just less than 7 days before the Beatles signed.
Wow, that's
And
tough.
So Pete Best was the drummer who was with them in Germany all those years. So my only ability is to count to 4 either fast or slow. I'm like, I'm going to do everything, like manage it. Just book all the shows, do all the press. We got lots of press and stuff like that. And you're your band's drummer, and you're the one who put it. And it's funny because the Rationales, it's the same thing. It's a brother. The singer and the drummer are brothers, but the drummer is pretty much the driving force behind, all the, like, Dave writes most of the songs. With his brother, but his brother takes care of everything else. So you can't be replaced by somebody else who can count to 4 fast or slow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's we all have some writing capabilities. Our singer's written most of our stuff at this point, but we're all starting to contribute a lot, and so it's getting to be a lot of fun.
I wrote some stuff early on, and it was really clear why I don't write any stuff and why Dan does or John did or something like that. But so now back to, like, today, with everything that you have in front of you, do you guys have a game plan in 6 months, a year, or 2 years, or is it just let's see what happens?
It's a little bit of both. We're all people who just like to do whatever the heck we want, so we're just gonna push forward. But I go to engineering school, and I have been for quite some time now. But so I'm very methodical. So I'm saying, all right, we're gonna do it this way. We're gonna do it right, and so it kind of helps keep us in line. And so right now our plan is to sort of get a something out by next year, or not by next year, but sometime next year have something out as far as an EP or an album, and to be playing more places.
Where do you go to engineering school?
I go to WPI in Worcester.
Nice. Everybody else in school there?
No. Our singer goes to UMass Lowell.
Oh.
Yes.
So, and he's never played Lowell.
He hasn't played Lowell because he just started there. He's
All right, because Lowell has a lot of, I grew up next to Lowell, and then, like, right after film school, I moved to LA for 20+ years, and Lowell's changed since then. But it has a vibrant music. Like, so this club, I didn't know it, but a friend of my wife's couldn't make the show, and she's like, oh, why don't you, I'll go to the next one. My friend runs this club called Uncharted. I never heard of it. I looked it up, and old guys like me who like bands like the Lemonheads and Dinosaur Jr., both the singer of Dinosaur Jr., one of the two singers of Dinosaur Jr. did another band called Sebado, and Evan Dando, the singer from the Lemonheads, both last month did shows at Uncharted. And I'm like,
Oh, really?
Oh, okay, so it's a 100-seat venue. It's a little venue that's also a restaurant / art gallery. And there's lots of little places like that. But when you get people like legends in the alt rock, especially the Boston alt rock circle from either Dinosaur Jr. or Lemonheads, I'm like, oh, this could be great.
Yeah.
So and if your singer goes there, who else is in college?
well, we're all college age. Our guitarist, he's tradesman. He's a plumber, and he's working with his dad. And the other guy is he's on a semester off from school. I think he's trying to do engineering school as well.
Do you guys utilize like the resources of like college radio?
We've had 3+ shows at WPI now, and the college radio. Actually, I haven't gotten into that now because I don't think anybody listens to it anymore.
Yeah.
Because we have stuff like Spotify or internet podcasts to go check out.
Nobody does listen to it, and nobody ever really did. However, like this is going back when we would go and see like the Pixies when they were playing places. There was a place next to, I'm so fucking old. There's a place right next to, and it just closed down last year or the year before. It was called TT the Bears, right next to the Middle East Cafe. Do you know these clubs in Boston?
I do, actually, yeah.
So TT's, we would see bands like Buffalo Tom and the Pixies on a Wednesday or a Thursday night for a couple bucks, there'd only be like 40, 50 people in the room, but 40 of the 50 people were from college radio stations.
Really?
And,
Okay.
and that was always, the driving force for us. And that's how we ended up getting to do a lot of tours. And college was where the money is. Like, you would get a unthinkable, like, $500 for going out and playing SUNY Buffalo, and we would use that. Like, okay, so if we're going from, Boston to Buffalo and it's $500, that pays to do something in Albany on the way there and somewhere in like Springfield on the way back for no money, or like $50 and like, beer or stuff like that. But it was that's why we always loved the college radio thing, because those people were like really invested into the music.
Well, that's a good idea.
And the other
Probably
thing,
check that out.
that we would do is if you have a college radio show, you probably book the college, or you book a local like college night at like a bar. You write for a fanzine, or now it's an online blogging thing. And then Joe and I did a syndicated sketch show that we had like videos, and we found out that there was lots of little shows like ours all around the country, like cable access shows. If you are taking the time to do a music video or music-centric cable access show on like Schenectady, you're probably also booking a local club or have some local tie-in. And through that, we would just tour through college. And again, 10 people are listening to your college radio show, but all 10 of those people will show up wherever you play.
Yeah, we've noticed that people, you reach one person and they'll bring 2 or 3 friends next time. And then those people, it grows quick.
So the other thing that we would utilize college radio for is, all joking aside, some colleges like Tufts University, they had a really vibrant college station, and it was an engineering thing. They had a lot of audio engineers. We would go there before going to a studio because we would get a really great sound. Like if we were working out songs, we had like 10 songs, we were going to record 5. We would play them live on this college thing and get a really good working, this doesn't sound anything like we thought it did in our heads. Fuck that. But this throwaway song is actually workable. It sounded good. Let's record that.
Right.
Let's spend the money. Because there's so many free resources like that out there. But we were poor, and only one of us had a girlfriend who could, give us money. The other guys, like Dan, for the number of friends that he had, you think one of them would have kicked in some money.
No, they had their money spent elsewhere, I think.
Yeah, on his beer.
Basically.
He's a beer.
Right. I don't know. I'm going to ask, I guess, the dumbest cliche questions. Who did you listen to most growing up?
Growing up, oh man, I gotta say, probably one of my favorite bands is Led Zeppelin, and I think that would be around the group. We all love Led Zeppelin.
Nice to hear.
Yeah,
it is. It's very encouraging, because I think that now, who's out there now that in 20 years people are going to say, "Oh, gee, I really remember listening to."
X, yeah, right.
LMFAO,
LMFAO.
Or 21 Pilots. I heard them, and I'm like, I got to start a band.
Were your parents way into rock music growing up?
My dad used to be super into this sort of stuff. He actually played out, and he'd do stuff like the Eagles. He was more into soft rock, but yeah, I love the Eagles as well. I was listening to them on the way in.
Do you have vinyl at the house, or did you have like actual records at the house that you would go through?
I don't. I'm more of a CD guy myself, because they're smaller and easier to keep in small spaces. But the buddies have records.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So because vinyl is on the comeback.
It is
Shockingly is.
It's a very hipster thing, as it were, but I think it's coming back just because
the
it's
term
cool.
is hipster douchebag. The full term is hipster douchebag.
Hipster douchebag.
And I say that lovingly. Like, look how I look. I mean, most people assume I'm a hipster douchebag.
You aspire to be a hipster.
Not a hipster.
Douchebag.
We can drop the hipster part. Are there any like Boston bands? And please don't say Boston. Please don't say Boston or Aerosmith. Are there any like Boston bands that you've either like really liked their music or said, hey, they've come from the same place we did, and this is where they went to? We'd be great if we could be that.
Honestly, not really. A lot of us, at least not for myself. I know I like listening to the Pixies, but the band that's really struck us recently and has been a big inspiration was Greta Van Fleet, and you've probably heard about them. You haven't heard of Greta Van Fleet? Well, go check them out. guy. Very Led Zeppelin-esque. You've probably heard them being scrutinized. They sound like Led Zeppelin, and they're like, well, whatever. But they have a great sound. They just released an album last month, and they've been a super inspiration to us. You may have heard Highway Tune on, what is that, 107? I think.
Yeah, like I myself listen to satellite radio mostly. So
Okay,
yeah. Which it actually pigeonholes me musically because everything is so segmented on satellite radio. So you have 70s, 80s, the 90s rock. So everything is so like microcasted now, like narrow casted. So
it's what you want. They give you what you want. So you
exactly right. So you don't have to actually be exposed to anything new, like I was when I was growing up.
Right.
Joe, I'm going to let them know a little bit about your musical background. So, 95 we drove across country?
97, I believe.
Okay. You had, and I want to say, 14 tapes to bring with you.
Cassette tapes.
And 12 of the 14 were
Weird Al Yankovic.
Wow.
No kidding.
Okay. This sounds like if you were on a desert island kind of question. You could bring one thing.
But Weird Al is sort of every man's music.
It really was driving cross country with me like being on a desert island. You don't have the ability to play something off a phone right now, do you?
I do. I put it up to a microphone.
All right.
That's what we do at practice.
Do you really want to actually play?
I do. Have you seen this clip?
Who is that?
Okay, you haven't. You like Led Zeppelin, yes?
I do.
Okay. I want you to... Well, actually, you hold that up to the mic while you watch that. But hold the mic as close as you can. And keep in mind, she is 7. Check out her foot. Now, as you watch this and you say you like Led Zeppelin, does this 7-year-old make you want to work harder to play more like John Bonham? Or do you say, fuck it, I will never be as good as this 7-year-old? Because that's where I weigh it. No, you can, but yeah, there's this clip that went around the internet of this 7-year-old girl, and they showed it to Jimmy Page on a British talk show, and he's like, I will literally, if somebody can reach out to your parents, she can go on tour with us. Like, she's that good. But I'm like, and I have a friend who, forever works at Universal Music Group, who was in a band called the Exies that did really well in the 90s, had a couple songs that were used on, I think, the Guitar Hero 2 or Guitar Hero 3. And I was watching this with him one day, and he's like, yeah, that's just divine intervention. But when you said you like Zeppelin, I'm like, I love Zeppelin too. I would never try to play a Zeppelin song because I cannot.
Yeah. That's the point you brought up is, do I try to get better, or do I just say, screw it, I'm never going to be there? I mean, the same applies anywhere. You just got to work at it, and you got to make your own thing. If you try to be somebody else, you're never going to do it. Like, if I was to try to be John Bonham, I'm going to die unhappy.
Covering Elvis tunes is okay.
Yeah.
Covering, and it depends what Zeppelin song it is. There's some songs, but there's, I just was on tour with the basketball team in the Middle East doing basses, and a band was there one night, and the band played a couple of their songs and a Who song, a couple of their songs and a Zeppelin, and they were complete B plus on those covers. But like the drummer, I mean, it's so hard to do a Keith Moon fill and a Keith Moon roll and some of this stuff. So it was a stripped down. You knew what he was playing, like, but I'm like,
very few can get it down. We've been trying to play The Ocean, and I got to be honest, I'm never happy with how I play it, but it's Zeppelin's so good. It's a lot of fun. We like the Stones and Beatles too, so those are a little easier to capture, but it's more difficult in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that trying to emulate a famous rock drummer, if you want to be a drummer, is a good jumping off point. But it shouldn't be like your Moby Dick, where you're constantly trying to I'm never going to be John Bonham, and then throw away the sticks. You just you get to the best point that you could possibly get, and then get better even more.
So that's why when I started, I would listen to Cure songs. I'm like, I can play this in an hour.
Yeah.
Done.
I had trouble if I was a drummer, I would be very intimidated listening to, let's say, Def Leppard, because this guy's got one arm and he's killing it.
I actually saw him back in, when was it? July, I think.
Oh, yeah?
July or August, and it was a sight.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And a great story. He always didn't have one arm, and
Yeah.
the band put the band on hold for like 3 years. And when he lost his arm, they were it. They were stadium concerts doing like the was it Schaefer Stadium back then? It was Sullivan Stadium.
Yeah, I think it was Schaefer Stadium.
It was Schaefer Stadium back then. They were doing stadiums, and the whole band said, "Yeah, fuck it, we'll wait." And he figured out. It's like, yeah, that's
Right. That's
I think
dedication.
really,
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, when we do covers, we don't.
Right.
And if we do, we do like this show. We're going to be doing Kenny Rogers' Ruby, but like
Okay.
a rock version. It's a great lyrically. It's a really harsh, gut wrenching. Literally open your chest cavity, rip out your heart, and show you your beating heart as you fade into oblivion type song. But not with.
But the kids love it.
The kids. No one will know it. The only people there who will know it is me. And
hopefully you guys, when you're
Dan,
playing it.
And
Hopefully.
50-50 if our bass player, 50-50 our bass player's there, 50-50 if he knows it's a cover tune. All right, so you guys want to get something out. Do you guys ever sit around, what are you? So if you're 22, you're in your junior year, senior year?
I'm in
2
my
semesters away?
graduate year, so yeah.
And when you talk with your parents, are you like, yeah, as soon as I get this degree, I'm going to go on a tour with the band?
Yeah, they they like that. They're supportive in their own way, yeah.
In their own way.
Yeah.
My mother's supportive in her own way of nothing I've ever done.
I got to be honest, we get a lot of support from everywhere we go. Our families have been super supportive, providing us with time, space, and just like money when we need it, honestly.
And so when you guys had a decent crowd when you guys played out. Was it fans? Was it family, friends? A little bit of both?
That was a mix of family, friends from WPI, because it's very close to there, and some fans who've just seen us before, and they're like, let's see what it's all about. Because I've met with some people who say we're in bands too, and we just never got to play out, and they said, well, come check us out and see what it's like to do this, and they were blown away. So I was really happy to see that. It's always fun to get a smile out of the crowd. If I can see one person smiling, it just pushes me to play that much more.
It's a great answer.
It is.
It's a little too positive for this
yeah,
part. I'm not used to it.
I don't know where to go with this.
Feeling weird.
And there's a number of times Joe played out with us.
Played out is a little harsh.
We sometimes we had another musician. Sometimes there's the old Sid Vicious thing. We don't have a bass player, but just stand here and hold this and jump around and make fun of us.
Yeah, I know.
You couldn't tell. I mean,
well, the bass was made of cardboard. So.
Yeah, no. Our whole goal playing out, it was a little different. It was see if we can really make the place go bankrupt, because it was always like free booze. We're not going to pay you, but you can drink here. And or can we physically get thrown out of a club? So we had a little different take on things.
Yeah, there's a generation gap between what your band went through and what the Gold Star Blvd is going through now. I don't think they have that sort of. They're not brought up in that same environment.
Were you at the Bunratty thing where we played with Flock of Seagulls?
Uh-huh.
Were you at the Flock of Seagulls thing where we literally got thrown out of a club, like our equipment thrown out by the band of Flock of Seagulls? They didn't appreciate us ending our set opening for them with a 20-minute version of their one hit.
Yeah, we've talked about that and thought about how funny that would be. So I guess it's neat to meet
it's
somebody
awesome.
who's done that.
So what you have to do now is learn a Dan Craig Beyond It song and play that.
Well, there we go. I guess we'll see.
The other band that is playing with us, the kid Nico, who you've been on the emails with,
right?
He's jammed with us. He's been a friend for a couple years. And a couple summers ago, when I was in Kuwait, he had a job. I mean, a real job, working in a coffee shop, just playing songs. Like, good for you. And he covered a couple of our songs. And there's one song of ours he liked. He's like, are you guys playing that? I'm like, no, you are. It's like, we're done playing it, dude. Like,
There you go.
we recorded that and made, it was on MTV in '93. We don't want to play it anymore. But if you like it, God bless you.
By all means,
So butcher it any way you want. Do you think anything could offend me? Like, what could possibly offend Dan or I?
I was going to say like a hike in booze prices, but that doesn't
Not anymore.
Exactly. That's all gone. So no, I think there's very little that offends you.
Yeah, yeah. So 2019, you got all these New Year resolutions. You're graduating. You want to put something out. We have you back next November. Are you taking our calls because you're a big rock star by then? Or are you going to remember the little people?
I hope we will have forgotten you by then.
Yeah.
That is the best answer.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Right.
Seriously. And now, is it whose drum set? Is it yours or Nico's drummer we're going to use at the show?
That is yet to be determined. I can bring mine, but I think you told me just to bring my breakables.
See, when we moved to LA, it was great. I hated it at first because there was always a drum set there. And I'm like, yeah, but sometimes I kick it over. And I don't want to break a nice drum. That's why I never had a nice, first the Flintstone mug and now this. We can't have nice things. But then it's like, oh, wait. This is really fucking easy. I can just show up and not break something down, put it in the car, drive an hour, take it out of the car, set up for sound check, break it down, put it back on stage. No, like
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. So that's why now that we're playing out, that again, the guys from the Rationale, he has a great, like his foot pedal is like really good. It's like a $300 foot pedal, which is $300 more than I've ever spent on a foot pedal ever. A lot of the stuff I've owned has fallen off backs of trucks, but it's so nice that it's like, oh, it's like you can either play a longer set or it's just easier if one person is willing to do it. So that's why I said, whoever you guys figure it out. And that's the other thing. It's like, we don't want to go on last anymore. It's like, none of our friends want us to go on last because if we say we're going on 9, that really means 10:30. It means that's another 2 hours for our babysitter. Come see your same fucking songs we saw in 95, asshole. No. So that's why, and people are always stunned. It's like, what do you mean you're not headlining? It's like, dude, if we could go on first and get away with it, we would. So, because I think I emailed you and Nico, and I'm like, you guys figure out whose drums. You guys figure out who's going on before and after us. Okay. We're just going to show up and hopefully not get thrown out of clubs anymore because I'm done with bar fights. I think I'm pretty much done with that. Any last questions for the? Oh wait, where did the name come from?
That's well, we were in the midst of like thinking of names. We had a high school show we were playing. What was it, last year? And I was driving David, our singer, home, and I was just looking at the sign down, what was it, Route 190, and I see Gold Star Blvd on the sign. I was like, hey, what the heck, what about that? And he's like, yeah, maybe. And about 6 months later, we were like, what about that? Let's try that. And so it stuck. And
so nobody pitched, I can't believe it's not butter.
That I'm pretty sure that actually came through, but it got shot down real quick.
Because that's what I wanted the band to be called originally.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah, I don't have much of a say. What is your social media handles?
We're at Gold Star Blvd, both on Facebook and Instagram.
Is it spelled out Boulevard or BLVD?
It is BLVD.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm very adamant to keep the period in there if we have a logo, but it's fine for now.
And not on Twitter?
Not on Twitter, no.
Good. Because have you seen Twitter lately? Oh, it's a hellscape.
I'm old. I don't know how to use Instagram, and I will not have Facebook. Like that's I think am I the last person on the planet without a Facebook account?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, okay. I think there are some people who are just born who have not yet been set up on a Facebook account.
And who probably do. Oh, right. Okay. Do you have anything up there yet, or will you be posting what you just recorded?
We have some videos that are linked to our Facebook account and some other. We're going to be linking stuff to our Instagram soon, so keep an eye out for that.
I don't have any more questions or any more insults.
I just want you to plug the gig one more time.
Okay. It is Friday, December 14th at Uncharted in Lowell. I don't know the address. I think
it's right downtown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I wish
If you wander around, you'll find it.
I knew the name of Nico's band because I will plug that too. But I didn't. I haven't even told Joe yet. And now that you're sitting here, Alex, you'll hear this. We're going to do a performance art thing throughout the show where Joe is going to be.
Please tell me nobody's going to be naked. Oh boy.
We can't confirm nor deny that.
Did somebody tell you that?
No, that's just worried from practice at our house.
Oh
Just,
no, that's why
it can happen.
That's why my sister hasn't come to see us since like '92 because we were somewhere in I think she was in New York and my brother's playing with a bunch of friends. It's like my brother's naked. I'm
We'll bring our
leaving.
visors.
So no, I don't do that anymore. I don't do it any less. No, but Joe's going to be doing a Christmas Carol thing where he's going to be on stage the whole time. He's going to narrate the thing, and we are all going to do sets akin to the 3 ghosts that he gets visited by that night.
Great. I'm just hearing about this for the first time, but I love it. I'm glad to be a part of this. Let's do it.
As I was driving over, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
It's either that or George Washington in a washing machine.
Right.
But no, I'm really excited. I'd say what order we're playing in, but and literally whatever you guys want to do as far as who goes on, it's like whoever wants the glory of headlining or apologizing for us with their set, I would.
As long as you're in the middle, you don't want to be at the beginning nor the end.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Just
You want to be
like
that
sex.
You just want to be like that creamy white filling of an Oreo.
There you go.
Creamy and white.
What one song should we go out from you guys with?
Well, I sent you Lucky Number 7. That's a song we all wrote recently, and we're very, very excited to get that professionally recorded when we do. So we sent you our demo.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, thank you, Alex, for joining us on Carnival Personnel Sideshow, Gold Star Boulevard. Check them out.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And
Or me.
please do not forget.